Senator Turner, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it. First
Great to be
question,
here.
obvious question. Why are you running again?
I'm running for this office for the same reason that I ran the last time, that this greater Cleveland deserves a champion, and not much has changed in changing the material conditions of the poor, the working poor, and the barely middle class. So the reasons are still the same, to lift the people. As you know, Cleveland is the largest poor city in the country, and this region really deserves a leader that is going to fight, not just vote the right way, but fight for what is needed.
A hard fought race last time. When you look at the campaign this time around, what do you think you'll do differently?
Well, definitely do more, of being on the ground. I mean, we were on the ground a lot, but you can always do more. The terrain this time is different as well. It's not a special election. It's not the only election that's happening in the country, of which during that special election last year, that was the case. You got five constitutional offices up. That's including the governor, attorney general, secretary of state. You have the one U.S. Senate race on the ballot this time. So I believe more people will definitely be engaged in watching this race. And also, there will be new lines, one way or the other. And I know that the Supreme Court ruled that the lines were unconstitutional, sent it back and said, you guys work on this and make it right. But nevertheless, there will be new lines no matter what. And so, given that portion of the district, the new portion of the district, the opportunity to have a choice is important in elections.
Of course, you don't just jump into this. I'm sure you've done some polling, there's been some research and all that stuff. What does the research tell you?
Well, polls are snapshots in time, Russ. The real poll will come up again, as I always say, and it is election day. People will make a decision. It will be a more robust electorate. Hopefully, more people will feel compelled to vote. One of the things that saddened me last time, and with any election where voters don't turn out, is that people are starting to feel somewhat, and not just in Ohio, Russ, not just in Cleveland, but when you have large swaths of people deciding that they're not going to vote, something is wrong with that. And as somebody who ran for Secretary of State, it is important to me, regardless of who people are going to vote for, that we expand and protect access to the ballot box. And unfortunately, in our lifetime, like right now, there are forces that are scaling back those opportunities, even right here in our own home state.
Can I ask you, Senator Turner, when did you make this decision? How soon after the election did you say to yourself, I'm going to run again?
I gave it some deep consideration. It wasn't an instant thing. You have to look back at the race. I look back at my own race. What was the good? What was the bad? What was the ugly? What did we learn? What we could have done better? A lot of soul searching. So I did not come at this decision, lightly. But as I look at the trauma and the drama that is going on in this country, I still firmly believe that the people of this district definitely deserve a fighter. They need a fighter, and I am that fighter. And so here I am in this fight again.
You just mentioned it. When you look back at the race you ran last fall, what was some of the good, some of the bad, some of the ugly of that?
Well, definitely the good was being able to connect with people. Again, I hadn't ran since 2014 when I did take that plunge and ran for Secretary of State against one of the worst secretaries of states in the nation at that time in 2014. So it's always good to be able to get to commune with people. It was a lot harder because now we're running in an environment where there's the COVID and we have to be more careful, but we definitely found creative ways, including video conferencing, to reach out to the people. So touching the people is always good. To me, that gives me so much life. That is the good. The ugly really came in with the corporatist money that was spent. The dark money that really came into this race. There, it is very clear that although there were 13 people in the race, there was one major target, and it was me. There was clearly a anybody but Nina campaign ran. And for the life of me, Russ, I really don't understand that, because for somebody like me who's standing up for universal health care, who want, standing up to have the minimum wage increased, somebody that believes that the everyday people of this district and also this nation deserve to live a good life. If those things are wrong, Russ, I don't want to be right. If wanting people to have paid family medical leave is wrong, I don't want to be right. If trying to make sure that people can take a vacation every now and then, that they get what is owed to them when they work on these jobs. I don't want to be right. So just standing in that ready position. And I know people have their preferred candidate. I am the preferred candidate of many people. I get that. And for some, not so much. And that goes for anybody that runs for office. But there's a difference between concentrating money to support somebody versus concentrating money to go all out after somebody, not just on the issues, but to really try to malign their character and their integrity. And that happened in this race. And the target was one candidate. It was me. And so that's the ugly side of politics. And that's why I do believe, not, it's not the only reason, but I am a strong proponent for doing away with Citizens United and having campaign finance reform so that dark money does not suffocate the voices of the people that live in any area. And that was a little bit of the bad too. I think other portions of the bad is having it in the summertime where a lot of people are not in tune. College students were not around. It was just a time where I just don't believe that a lot of people were really paying attention. Maybe only the diehards were paying attention to the race. So this time there are lots of things on the ballot, lots of different races on the ballot, and I'm hoping that that will draw more people up to come out to vote.
Senator Turner, this time you're running against an incumbent. Does that make it tougher or easier?
I think for me, it's always going to be tough. Obviously, as we saw in the special election, this is a solidly Democratic district, and still people came for my life. Basically, it will be a challenge, but I don't doubt that we will surmount this challenge. I am accustomed to challenges from fighting for county reform in this county, as you know. The forces came after me at that time, so I'm no stranger to the challenge. What I will say about incumbency is somebody that has been on the ballot before that we live in America, and for every term, there is the opportunity for people to run. And even if you suspect, or even if you believe as the person who is the incumbent that you are doing the best job possible, there is in America, people get a chance to run and get a chance to vote and have those ideas bantied about it. That's what a primary is about. This is not a dictatorship and it's not a monarchy. So people can run. And who knows, Russ? I mean, I would suspect I'm not the only one running in this race. We don't know. It's 13 people last time. We'll see what happens this time.
And speaking last time, obviously, I talked about your road and you're a mom, you're a grandmother. You've you're busy. You have a lot of people in your family who depend on you, and I know you're very proud of your family and you love your family. People are going to hear this. If Nina Turner's running again, they're going to say, "Oh my God, why would she put herself through that again?" As tough, as rough, as nasty, really, as that last race
Yeah.
was. What's the answer to that?
God, my love is so deep, for helping and being a part of changing the material conditions for the people in this district. I am not far removed in terms of my lived experience of being in a working class family and having moments where the cupboards were bare. Having a mother who, as my custodial parent, struggled a lot to try to put food on the table, and my dad working really hard to help do just that. My mom was the custodial parent, but my dad was very much involved. I will never forget those moments in my life. And it is those moments in my life that compel me to use the cachet that the good Lord has given me for good, to be able to lift people, to help, to push public policy, and even push people, quite frankly, in my own party to do what is just, what is right, and what is good. And so I am running this race to be in service to the people in the community that I love and the people in the community that I have been blessed to serve before. And I hope to be able to serve them again in the halls of Congress. But one way or the other, Russ, I will continue to be in the fight for justice. And it's not a destination, it is definitely a life's journey.
I think as my last question, Senator, as we discussed, the last race, especially at the end, got pretty brutal. A lot of punches were thrown uh, on both sides. Do you expect this race to be about the same, even
Well,
rougher? How would you describe it?
yeah, I hope that it doesn't come to that, but who knows? I will say in terms of people drawn who drew first blood. There's a movie with Rambo, and he let it be known the other side drew first blood. And I'm going to say the same thing. I ran a race on the issues, Russ. I stuck to the local issues and to the issues, and there were other forces that came in here and nationalized this race in ways that did a disservice to this district. So it is my hope that we will stay on the issues, but we will see. We know that politics is rough and tumble, and we have come to a point in politics that even people seem to accept this, and they just say, oh, that's politics. Well, it doesn't have to be that way. So my campaign started off just talking about the issues, and I hope that we will start that way again, and hopefully it will end that way as well.
Senator, thanks so much. Can I ask what your first order of business is? You're going to announce this tomorrow. We're this embargoed until tomorrow. What's the first thing on the agenda? What do you do to kick off the campaign tomorrow?
Well, we have well, first of all, hug my son. You mentioned my son and my grandchildren. That's my first order of business, and say
Uh,
we are at it again. But I'll spend a little time in the morning with my son and with my grandchildren, and then we'll go out and about a little bit. I'm sure I'll be doing a lot of interviews and also making a lot of phone calls because I have a lot of people that I need to call. But I'm looking forward to getting back out there again.
it sounds like you're going to hit the ground running, as they say.
Oh yeah, always. I have no choice, Russ. I care deeply.